has indigenous roots. It's
Of course, we have the other people with the European culture, and we didn't mix kind of visions, feelings. I don't know why, but we couldn't make it. You know what I mean?
No.
Entonces, no hemos podido volver mestizo todo el país.
sí. No han podido
convertirlo en
they
mestizo.
haven't been able to mix the cultures to make it a mix.
The whole country.
Yeah, the visions and aspirations of the whites, and then the visions and aspirations of the indigenous. They haven't been able to make that mix happen.
Probably like in Mexico,
Probably similar to Mexico.
Here, no. We had problems, crossings, classes, things like that. And that's why, for example, I work with Morales. Because for me, hubiera sido
It would have been
easier to work with Tuto. Tuto Quiroga. He's my age, he's my class at school, he's everything. But for nothing. I mean, it was important to work with Evo. He came from the other side with another ideas, things like that. We need to build this country very mixed. We need that.
So Wade, you were kind of asking how was it to govern, right?
Exactly.
So como era govern? How was it to actually govern? I mean, was it easy? There's so many social movements. You have the social movements, and you have the political.
Bloqueo
class.
here, bloqueo there.
And which years were you in the municipal?
City government.
Yeah. Which years were
I
those?
was from how you say 25?
2005.
2005. Okay, from 2005 to 2010.
Okay.
Okay.
Recién.
5 years and a half. Gracias. With problems because I think for you, no coffee, no coffee.
They're coming. Latte on the way.
Okay. I think the most important problem in any country is to have employment, to have work.
Yeah.
And when you can make it, when you don't have work in the country, you have a lot of problems, always. So the first problem is to produce work for the people. That's important, very important, because the people has dignity, has everything peaceful, things like that. Here we have two economies. One official, the other one from contrabando, eso ya no sé.
Contraband.
Yeah.
Contraband.
Lo mismo.
For example, from the narco traffic. We have a lot of money from narco traffic, of course. You don't have to be worried because our cocaine is going to to Brazil, I think, to Argentina, to Chile, not to the USA.
Really?
Really, Colombia has a problem with North America, with Europe.
Right.
Probably. But Bolivian cocaine is going to the south of South America. So we have the Brazilian people very angry with us, of course, and probably the Argentinians and Chileans.
Is it, does it get processed into cocaine in Bolivia?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yes, we are.
So it's actually
We don't know
shipped
if we are the second or the third country in South America producing this. We used to be the third, but I think we are going to be the second
out. Second largest producer.
with cocaine. El segundo
Yeah.
productor.
Right.
dice.
Right.
Yeah.
Sí. Sí. Problems here in the city. was with the water, for example, water with the public transport and with the shoppings, mercados,
Mercados.
Sí, sí, Marcos.
with the shoppings. That's because this city is growing up very fast, and the government can go as fast as the progress, as the explosion demographic explosion. O sea, una explosión demográfica.
Sí, sí, sí.
Sí.
But it's a matter of time. We have to learn how to drive these things. How to learn? We have to learn how to be a good government. You have to think that, for example, when I was born, we had a military government here. Okay, so when you're talking about good governments, you are talking about some good school governments. And the best school is democracy. That's the only way to learn how to drive these things. How are we learning? We learn. We have the rules. We have more money for everybody. Our cities are growing up, I think, getting better. It's a matter of time.
We organize in Lima, and in Lima, the federal government pays for much of the infrastructure compared to the city of Lima. Here in Cochabamba, does the municipal government finance the infrastructure development, or is it a partnership with the federal government and the municipal government?
O sea, ¿cuál es la precisión de Lima, del problema de Lima?
What is it?
Él dice que el gobierno federal de Perú es que paga mucho más que la ciudad para el progreso de la infraestructura en la ciudad. Y entonces pregunta cómo es aquí en Bolivia. La ciudad de Cochabamba lleva la responsabilidad para financiar todo el progreso, o también tiene fondos del
gobierno central. Sí. We are not federal country, as you know. We are not federal as USA, probably Canada. I don't know.
So you get
Peru is not a federal country.
But
They have a central government that
right, they get most of the tax dollars.
Yeah.
Because they get most of the tax dollars, they're responsible, for example, for road construction,
Yes.
as opposed to garbage collection. So I'm trying to,
Yeah, it's the same thing.
maybe a bad question, but I'm just trying to figure
no.
out here, what does La Paz pay for? I mean, what is the, whatever you call it, government pay for versus the municipal government in Cochabamba?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Sure.
Yeah, I understand. Here we have 9 departments. We have 9 governments. We call autonomías.
Right.
Autonomías, okay? And we have a central government. We have national taxes, departmental taxes. So many works comes from the national government, and the other one from each departmental government.
And are there municipal taxes as well?
Yeah. Que hay sí, impuestos municipales también.
Yes, yes,
So-
you're right. Yeah.
on every level, I think.
in every level.
Second, maybe I guess. Sequences.
Proyectos.
Yeah.
Cualquier país, ustedes saben,
Sí.
cualquier país tiene proyectos.
Every country, as you know, has projects.
Sure.
Ponen dinero
Put money
de impuestos
of their taxes
y de exportaciones, impuestos.
and exportations are always taxes.
Es posible en Bolivia encontrar
It's possible in Bolivia to find
en ciudades,
cities,
departamentos,
departments,
a nivel nacional,
on a national level,
carencia de proyectos,
carencia,
ausencia.
an absence of projects.
Entonces se demora más.
It takes longer.
Y primero es el proyecto y después es la inversión.
First is the project, then comes the investment.
Tenemos que organizarnos más desde abajo,
We have to organize ourselves better from below,
desde la comunidad
from the communities
hacia arriba.
up to the highest level.
Y para eso hemos cambiado leyes.
For that reason, we've changed laws.
Se llama la más importante participación popular.
The main one is popular participation. That's what it's called.
Se escucha a las comunidades organizadas
You listen to the organized communities.
y se elaboran los proyectos.
You elaborate the project.
Agua, guarderías,
Water, child cares centers,
claro, centros de salud,
health centers,
mercados,
markets,
escuelas,
schools,
caminos.
roads.
Pero, por ejemplo,
For example,
es difícil que el gobierno central nos escuche temas internacionales.
it's difficult that the central government hears international problems.
Igual que en Estados Unidos,
Similar to United States,
el gobierno central decide guerra, digamos.
the central government just decides on wars.
Claro. Y la gente no quiere guerra.
The people
pero
don't want wars.
nadie le preguntó.
Nobody asked them.
Nosotros tenemos referéndum,
We have what we call a referendum,
pero esto es reciente.
but this is a new thing.
How does it work?
¿Cómo funciona?
Is it
Técnicamente,
petition to get on the ballot, or
¿Es una petición de llegar al boleto?
el referéndum es una consulta
It's a consultation
okay? So
a los ciudadanos, ¿no?
to the
see,
citizens.
we've heard a lot about that. Okay.
Claro. El problema es la escolaridad.
The problem is the
Escolarity.
scholarity, the level of education. The level of education.
Porque se pregunta a 6 millones,
You got 6 million people,
por ejemplo,
as an example.
¿vendemos gas a Chile o no vendemos
Should we
gas a Chile?
sell gas to Chile or should we not sell gas to Chile?
Y la gente dice no.
And the people say no.
Y yo creo que debemos vender gas a Chile,
And I think that we should sell gas to Chile,
venderle agua a Chile,
sell water to Chile,
para que el norte chileno
so that the north of Chile
tenga gas, tenga energía,
has gas and energy,
tenga agua,
has water.
e integremos el puerto, los puertos,
We integrate their ports,
claro, al mar,
the sea,
porque no tenemos mar.
so we don't have sea.
Nosotros en una guerra hemos
momento.
perdido 5 puertos.
In one war, we've lost 5.
Is what he's saying that he would be in favor of selling gas and water in exchange for access to ports on the Chilean coast? I just want to make sure that
Yeah,
that's what he's saying.
That's what
Okay.
he's saying.
Sí,
Okay, yo
He's saying,
solo
So
una
if they could get to the
puntualización.
Pacific, it'd be worth it. Okay.
Solo
he's saying the referendums, they ask these simple
it's a
questions.
it's a point of clarity.
Right. It's not a holistic.
Es una zona pobre
It's a poor zone.
de Chile, de Perú y de Bolivia.
Chile, Peru, and Bolivia.
Y la solución moderna
The modern solution
es integrarla.
is to integrate it.
puertos, energía, agua.
Ports, energy, water.
Entonces el referéndum
So the referendum
técnicamente funciona bien,
technically functions well,
pero el nivel de educación
but the level of education
produce estos resultados
produces these results
que nos retrasan.
that puts us
Correct.
behind.
To get a consultation, you get that through the Congress? Do you get that
Para
through
llegar a
a
un
popular
referendo,
petition?
necesitas llegar.
How do you get something on the ballot?
¿Cómo pones un referendo? ¿Qué es el proceso?
Necesitas un porcentaje de firmas.
You need a percentage of signatures.
Same as Estados Unidos?
Sí,
Okay.
¿Sabe cuántos? Hay referéndums locales y nacionales.
National and local ones.
Either.
Depende. It depends.
Okay.
Depends. Van a advertir ustedes que los países de la tradición hispana, brasileña, caribeña,
You guys will see that the countries from
tradition,
tradition, Latin America, Caribbean,
Spanish people,
Spanish people.
Brazilian people, son muy nacionalistas.
are very nationalistic.
Sí.
But es un proceso que no sean tan nacionalistas,
So it's a process to not be so nationalistic.
no tanto,
Not so much.
not that much, I mean.
Yo creo que él estaba preguntando logísticamente, específicamente, para tener un referendo, ¿qué hace la gente?
Sí, recaba firmas,
You get signatures.
Okay.
signatures. You need thousands, I don't know,
Sí, sí.
Okay. Okay.
percent.
In the United States, sometimes it's as low as 10% of the people that voted in the last election, and it can be as high as 35%. So it depends on how easy the access.
¿Es
Only
variable
half.
por departamento?
Hay referéndums locales con temas locales. We didn't have any. Did you ask in English? Because
No, I was trying to ask, so does it vary like it does in the States? Like with the numbers? As you were saying how you can have a really low or really high percentage.
Well, less than half the states even allow referendum in the United States. 21 states or something like that. Some cities, but it's a patchwork quilt. Here you have a national and a local. I think that's fantastic, if it works.
probably the difference between Bolivia and Estados Unidos and the United States is that here you have an obligation.
Obligation.
You have to vote. You have to vote. Here, yes.
I personally believe in that. 27 countries have mandatory voting. We would solve we would make huge progress in the United States if we had mandatory registration and mandatory voting.
Lo requiere, como dice, y él está personalmente a favor de eso.
You agree with that?
Do you agree with that?
Mandatory registration and voting? Absolutamente.
Sí.
It's not a common position. So
No es una postura común de él.
the right-wing Fox News comes and interviews me about the fact that I believe in that. But 27 countries, whether it's Italy or Argentina or Brazil, have mandatory voting. Last election when Obama won, it became a big issue about voter registration. Partially, it had to do with the organization I used to work for. But the choices are either you go out there and register the poor or they don't get to vote. We don't have a system where people are automatically registered and they don't have a vote. If you're like
Are there penalties?
Well, we have, for example, problems at the airport. We have to pay una multa.
Fine.
And we have problems with 3 months. 3 months we have problems. We really have problems. Everywhere we have problems. But
some cases, like in Italy, the only penalty is that you cannot get the subsidy from the state to pay for your daycare if you don't vote. Now,
No, en Italia si no
you're
votas,
young and just have children,
el penal es que
you know,
no
it's not
te dan
like
el
there's 50
subsidio
penalties.
para cuidado de niños si no votas.
we don't have that.
The whole, not just that day,
But
like the whole.
Until you get your shit together and
not
get
everybody
ready to
has
vote.
ID yet.
You have to
Bolivia,
vote.
right?
Ideas about what?
You have to have ID.
But how long do they take?
I don't know if the penalty is a year to the next election or whatever, elections or, you know, snap elections, like you say,
No.
they happen all the time, so. But for a while,
No.
I think you're taken off the list.
Prácticamente tienen todo.
First I thought maybe it was just that they.
No, prácticamente. Se ha trabajado.
They have no more penalties, it's only for the.
Años de años, desde 1991, 1991, we've been working with the personal documents, with this cédula de identidad, how do you call it?
ID.
ID, things like that.
Well, in Argentina,
We've been
you
working
can't get
that.
your passport, right, if you don't vote?
To vote?
No, you get a stamp in your ID book every time you go vote, and if you try to travel, you know, they might say something to you, but it's not
Where's
So
Argentina.
So were you in government in 2010 during the gas rebellion, the push for the gas to be sold to Chile that was fought against by the people?
Mm-hmm.
Were you in office at that point? Were you part of the government in Cochabamba?
No, I was in La Paz with the National Electoral Court. 3 of my 12 years, I've been in La Paz, the National Court. At that time, I was in La Paz.
And how was it to be part of government at that point with the people in the streets? I would assume there's lots of blockades happening, negotiations.
Well, we had problems at the beginning with the government.
Right.
The government started his duties in 2000?
Yep.
2002. The president was Gonzalo Sanchez de Lozada. He's living in Miami right now. And he had many problems because he only had 20% of the votes. 20. And was his second government. But in the first one, he had more than 30. More than 30. In the second, only 20%. And Evo Morales had in 1987, he had, for example, 6%. In 2002, Evo had almost 20, almost like Gonzalo Sanchez de Lozada. So the feeling was that Sanchez de Lozada was going down and Evo was going up. But Gonzalo Sanchez de Lozada became the president. And you know why? I think the American embassy had some role, some duty on that thing. Some pressure. And it was a mistake, a big mistake. Because he only had 20% and the rest of the people didn't have a good feeling about him. So it was a mistake. And
U.S. embassies make lots of mistakes. We've got a long record on that.
many times. It was not important to make Gonzalo Sánchez de Lozada president. It wasn't important. But well, he became a president, and 1 year later, we had a problem thinking about the gas with Chile, but the problem was something different. It was something like a revuelta popular,
Popular
rebellion,
rebellion.
things like that, like 1986 in Paris, Mexico, things like that. We call gas war, but I think we had no problems before gas. So
what the gas war?
that?
Okay, I get it.
How has that worked? We had something like 60 deaths, things like that. But here in Bolivia, we have more or less 100 deaths a year with political things. And can you believe that is nothing if you compare with Colombia, for example, or with Mexico? They are nothing. In Argentina, here, they have more or less 60 deaths a year.
60?
Per year. 60 deaths
60 deaths per year.
for political things. And we have to finish that story, of course, with more democracy. That's the only way.
You said when you first started that you don't think the electoral court is going to be important in the future. Is that because of the new constitution, or what? Why? What were you saying when you said that?
Well, because I think that Evo is Evo Morales, okay?
See.
I think Evo is making mistakes because he is trying to have everything, and that's not the idea. I mean, we are a democracy, and we have to contact with people with another ideas, with another feelings, as another country. And he has everything. He has the army, he has the police institution, the electoral court, the court, just for justice, things like that. So that's why I think it's not important right now, because we don't believe in that national court, electoral court. We don't believe in that things. We want to change it, of course.
A lot of changes in this country.
We have to change many things, but with the cautions, trying to understand the process. I used to talk a lot with Evo in 2005. We almost were friends. But of course, I don't understand many things because I am so far from the government, of course.
So when was the last time you spoke with Evo?
With Evo, probably 2008. He used to call me at 2 in the morning, things like that, because he's my age, okay? He's very simple. We used to play soccer together.
Careful. We got say.
Soccer, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said be careful because I saw a video of him kicking somebody.
Not because he was my partner.
Good.
the president of the electoral court here in Cochabamba almost 9 years, since I was 27, something like that. And then I was in the National Electoral Court, but I wasn't president, I was a vocal, second one. Then I came to work here, I was a candidate, and I have that work, okay? The Consejo, that's the name, Consejo Municipal, okay?
Municipal council.
And of course I had problems every day, but I noticed something. Right, if I say notice,
I noticed, yeah.
okay. They trust me, the people. Because that was my best arm. So I had at the front to the mayor or government, alcalde.
The mayor?
And I was at the front, the consejo. Something like the little congress. Okay. And the people here used to say, if Lema sign this paper, we don't have problem. So I've been saying every day, and I think they were right, because every time I sign a compromise, like that, I had to work with the mayor to make the things. And many times, of course, I didn't sign because no iba a trabajar, no iba a funcionar.
It wasn't going to function.
So I didn't sign like that. So I think very, very important here, this little country, the big one, confianza.
Trust.
They have to believe you. If they believe you work, okay? So probably you don't have a problem.
Could you pick a specific story? Like, was there like one protest where, you know, it was a difficult road to navigate, but you found a way to work through it, or you didn't find a way to work through it? Like a specific group of people that were protesting?
Something like an example.
Yeah, an example of a story.
With the rubbish.
Yeah, rubbish.
Oh, we had here. I was in Tarija. Tarija is another department at the south of this country. Luis's parents are from there, from Tarija.
Yeah.
Okay? And I was flying here, and I saw from the plane, Cochabamba was full of flies. Because we had more or less 5 days of strike. The bloqueo, paro, strike.
Blockade.
So I arrived here at more or less at 12, and I had lunch first. Very important. You know why? Because when you go to the problem, probably you won't eat one day. So I had lunch at home, everything, and I went to you have to think everything. I had experience. And then I went to the problem, straight to the problem, with the major, but they didn't believe it. And probably within more than 12 hours, more or less midnight, secuestrados.
Oh, kidnapped.
More or less. I think we were. Okay. I had my official from the police, of course, like a helper, another one from the major, and they were suffering because the people, more or less 2,000 of. We have a basurero municipal.
How the municipal garbage system.
Yeah, and people live around it.
It's a dump. A dump.
It's a problem. They didn't have to live there, but with the time they are living there. And they are thousands, more or less 2,000. And in that occasion, they were more or less 2,000, I think. And they were very angry because they needed a lot of things. For example,
Fumigator.
because the flies.
Right.
If they live around the garbage, they have to. And they didn't have that. Water, clean water, air and oxygen.
Oxygen? Air?
Yeah, to breathe, because you can't believe how is that. Es lo más pobre.
It's the poorest part.
Here, everywhere.
Everywhere.
You can see, you can watch a movies. Okay. Well, I think it was terrible because many years they didn't meet with the governments of this city, and we were there 12 years to fix the problem, and with the truth, talking the truth and making projects with the truth. I mean, to make it more than 12 hours. But we fixed it. And please don't think that I enjoyed that work. No, I enjoy working my things, writing my things. But sometimes you have to work because you don't find too many people for working with things. You know that?
Yeah.
Because in your work, I think you don't find many people to be there. Do you find?
In city government? No.
No, I mean people with the social work.
Exactly right.
Very difficult to find people to work in that. Everybody prefers to make money.
Absolutely.
For example, my wife. So it's very difficult to be there. You don't enjoy the work, but sometimes you have to make it because you live here. You're gonna die here, so you have to work sometime.
Exactly.
That's the reason. But I think I would be very happy if nobody calls me anymore.
It's sort of interesting. This morning we met with a man who was saying much the same thing from the other side, that he hoped no one would ever call, and we said, you don't get to choose when people call. You know, you have to answer, and that's exactly what we were going through with Oscar. Now he's saying the same thing. Don't call. Don't call me, maybe.
Yeah.
So you were able to solve that problem of the garbage dump.
That one was one of the biggest. But you have problems every day.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Here, but it's important that they have to trust you, as I say. And it's very important. People has to notice that you don't have personal interest in anything. That's very, very important.
That you're not corrupt.
Yeah. Evo, for example, él me ha aguantado todo, aguantado.
¿Te ha aguantado?
Sí.
He's put up with much of your stuff.
Something like I could tell him anything.
Oh, okay.
I could call him anything. For example, you wrong.
You what?
For example, I could say to Evo, I think you're wrong.
You're wrong.
It was okay because I think Evo noticed that I didn't have any interest in anything. In anything, money, future. I didn't want to become a politics main